Mics are on. We're ready. Hey, good evening, everybody. Getting a lot of reports now of the roads really deteriorating, and you can see why. The temperatures have crashed. There's some outlying areas. The temperature near Barton and Cherokee is already 18. The Tennessee Department of Transportation, they pulled their crews out for the rest of the night. They said it's just too dangerous. Had a report of a car near Trinity on Highway 20 west of Decatur that actually slipped in the water. Nobody's in the car. I think they may have got out or something.
Yeah, I think they were saved. They were rescued. That was the last thing we looked at. So that's the concern that we're looking at when we tell you to stay off these roads.
So it's not only you have a chance of crashing. We've had so much rain. I think we've got some video of the flooding from earlier today, too. We've had so much water on the roads here. You could, number one, hydroplane as you hit that. Number two, that ice is over in some of these other areas on the culvert, and you're going to end up in the water in these ditches that are full. So, again, that creates a whole new hazard. Not only are you vulnerable to that, but all the first responders, the emergency operators, going to be out there trying to get you out of that. So, again, I would just advise if you absolutely don't have to get on the road, we realize some of you do. I have to get back on the road later tonight to go home from work.
Right.
Some of our crew is going to be going to the hotel after work to get ready for the morning show tomorrow. But if you do not have to be out on the roads, do not be on the roads. Now is the time to be off. As we go back and take a look at these temperatures behind us, it's almost about to fall below freezing in Scottsboro. And we do have some snow falling out there as well. And one of the things that I'm getting a response on is what we have done here. What we usually do is every radar is going to have some ground clutter pattern. And on a night like tonight, you're not really going to have ground clutter. They've gone into their specific mode here to look for snow. And that's why your app is probably not going to show this. I know our app won't. Number one, our app's showing a composite image on there. It's not a site-specific radar. What composite images do, they take a look at all the radar information around the area, and then they make one image of it, and they update it about every 5 minutes. So what we're seeing here is pure what we call clear air mode, and we're showing you all the DBZ returns, and these are snow flurries, and the reason you can't see it far away from the radar up towards Pulaski, I've circled this area, is this is probably falling underneath the radar beam as the clouds have been very low out there. We've had some drizzle and mist issues. Where we're getting the most snow and some sleet is over here in Jackson County, the far northeastern parts of Madison County, reporting snow. Northeast Huntsville definitely had some reports. Again, this is very light snow, but any snow out there at all is going to freeze to these roads tonight. And that's we're starting to get the higher elevations getting reports of snow there, and it's starting to stick. So I think a dusting is possible. Old Mountain Fork Road, that's what we were looking at earlier on that video of the flooding.
And that was taken earlier this afternoon. And so you can imagine that if this was around 2:30 today, you can imagine what this has turned into in the past couple of hours, especially now that we are starting to see a return of that precipitation back into our areas. So it is really a cause for concern as far as being on these roadways. And that's why we keep stressing to you, if you do not have to be on these roads at all for tomorrow, our city officials have said it themselves. This is an opportunity for you to exercise your best caution and just stay home, work from home if at all possible. I have heard there are still some folks who are being called into work tomorrow. So hopefully they bring that back and let you all have a day just to make sure everyone's safe, because we're starting to see a lot of things kind of change a bit.
Yeah. This changeover, again, this doesn't do a whole lot, but what it does is it keeps the road from drying.
Right.
And that's a real problem. We just got a report that in Jackson County, the ALDOT crews are treating State Route 79 from Skyline to the state line. So again, they're treating these roads as best they can, but could come a time, just like the Tennessee Department of Transportation, where it's not safe. You get these big, heavy trucks on the road in this mountainous terrain over here. It's a very dangerous job out there tonight. They're right at the point where the roads are probably about to start freezing, and the snow really doesn't help matters at all. Speaking of roads, let's take a look at the quick look in here into Jackson County, Scottsboro. And right as you climb up the bluff, we're probably seeing just a little bit more sleet in some of these areas. And if you live out in Harvest and Monrovia, in fact, I could probably step out here in just a few. And some of this may not be reaching the ground. Some of this may be that misty drizzle out there. But as you kind of change over to blue, we'll probably have some of these light snow flurries across North Huntsville. And again, it's not going to be a big deal if it snows in your area. The problem is it keeps the roads cold. So let's take
Yeah.
this full here. These are the current road temperatures based on this algorithm. Again, this from our partners at Barron Services in Huntsville, 25. So things have completely iced up in Franklin County, Alabama, even Franklin County, Tennessee. You're there. Winchester, it's 28. Travel not recommended, especially west of the Huntsville metro area right now, and that will likely translate east as we go through time. Getting a lot of accident reports, especially out of Colbert County. Wouldn't be surprised if we're getting those in Lauderdale County as well. And it's just because these roads are going to be a sheet of ice in many areas. We were hoping we'd get this 2 to 3 hour window for some drying, and that's still a possibility in some areas. And as we mentioned, when it comes to road conditions, they're all a little different in unique situations, especially in the mountainous areas. As we go past 1 o'clock, that's when we really ice up tonight, and we stay there through the morning hours. And then the question becomes, tomorrow's going to be full of those Facebook questions.
Right.
I saw them before the storm even moved in. So people were kind of joking about it. They're like, what are the roads like in, you name it, whatever town?
Yeah.
And again, you guys, especially when it comes to local roads, when we're not talking about highways, you guys have a better approach and idea looking out your window than we do. That will warm up into the mid-40s tomorrow. We're going to dry. We'll see some sunshine. So that's going to help. Here's the problem as we go past 9:30. Have you been outside lately, Jayda?
I have not wanted to, but it is chilly. This is
Very cold.
Yeah, brutal to look at.
Yeah, and these wind chills, again, by the time we get off work tonight, it's going to be just brutal to be out in this. Again, think of these emergency crews.
Yeah.
If you're out there on the road, you're putting your life in danger, plus these emergency crews as well, going out there in this cold. And, if you don't have chains on your vehicle, even a four-wheel drive, I'm going to attempt going home in my big F-250. Very, very slow. Think about, I know, as I mentioned, we've got a lot of people that have to be places. So think about taking the long way home. Think about every hill you have to climb as you're going home. Me, for one, I usually take Douglas Road. I'm not taking that tonight. It's got that big hill as you go from Jeff Road to Highway 53 or vice versa. There's a big hill, and that's usually a spot somebody wipes out. They may treat it, but I know. Just assume that the road's not treated. I know they're out there working hard to do that.
There's some areas that I know of on my personal way home. I know around that Enterprise Way, there's a big dip right along that Target area. And my big concern is that when it rains, that already floods a good deal by itself. So that's already a hazard, even on a dry day, a little bit of a hazard. So I'm thinking about those folks in that specific area.
That's a good point, because even here in town in Huntsville, my truck has an issue in the rain. You get it's basically Pulaski Pike. And Oakwood. It's a steady incline there, and the tires just spin. For some reason, that intersection is slick. Plus, if you have a truck, there's very little weight on the back, and in respect to the whole overweight of the weight of the car, there's very little weight on those back tires. But again, I've got four-wheel drive, so again, even if you have four-wheel drive, you're not getting traction on ice, so it go extremely slow. And the weight may help on a bigger truck, but the same principle applies. You got to be very, very careful.
This is all a pretty cautionary.
Yeah, and this is why schools are closed tomorrow.
Right.
For the great uncertainty of how the roads are going to be in the morning. We know they're going to improve, most likely by 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, but there are shaded areas that may not.
Yeah.
And then 1 o'clock in the morning, single digits.
Leoma and Pulaski, negatives. Fayetteville and Winchester, 0. It's
And then you get into the far northwest corner of the state.
You're seeing that there too.
And that brings me to the other thing. The Waterloo area, you get out Barton and Cherokee west of there, they have been hit really hard. And I don't think people really know the magnitude of how hard they've been hit. We'll probably have some drone video come out by tomorrow in some of those areas. Yeah. But those utility crews have been working hard. I saw a report on Facebook where some of the utility crews from Athens, Alabama, over in Limestone County, they're going to be going over to Oxford, Mississippi to help there, because Oxford, Mississippi has been devastated.
Absolutely.
Crippling ice storm there. So again, I'm sure we'll have other reports of other crews from the area, because this is a weekend, you get back to work on a Monday, things like that.
Yeah.
But that's what we're watching. Let's see, we got just something came out here. I just got to.
Another thing that.
I guess they should have winter weather advisory.
Oh, again.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, let me check that out. Winter weather advisory. It's probably for all this mix that's coming through.
Yeah. Looks like it's through.
Oh, yeah. Why
1
don't you go ahead and read that?
Yeah, so we've got winter weather advisory in effect until 1 a.m. Monday, which is kind of what you were really seeing here. For Colbert, Coleman, DeKalb, Franklin, Tennessee, Jackson, Lauderdale, Lawrence, Limestone, Lincoln, Tennessee, Madison, Marshall, Moore, and Morgan. So that's a lot of.
I want to read what
yeah.
I mean, for their reasoning. Maybe it's
let's see what
maybe
we're
they're doing
looking
it for the black ice.
Yeah, we're seeing freezing drizzle causing ice on surfaces and roads across the valley, along with some light snow in northeast Alabama, producing light accumulation. And I think we saw that already. A couple folks have sent in where they've kind of spotted that in their own backyard. And this is, again, one of those opportunities that we really stress to you all. Make sure you're sending in some stuff so we can see and get an idea and a grasp on what we're looking at. Our impacts are roads, definitely, but also bridges and overpasses. We've already seen Parkway closed, so they've already put that barricade out for a lot of that area.
Franklin County here in Alabama has the emergency managers put out this message: impassable travel advisory. All roads and bridges maintained by Franklin County should be considered impassable until further notice.
Absolutely.
We're going to see more and more of this coming through here.
Right.
And then you're going to get the, I just noticed this, does anyone know how Highway 20 in the Beltline area? Husband's trying to get home. Again, these are all questions. These are changes that are taking place. That ice is forming area-wide. And again, the wind, probably not going to help now. I'm going to check, see if I've got any other comments coming in. You got any comments coming in over there? What's like the over?
I'm seeing trees down West Lauderdale.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, the trees are going to come down because, and that's I almost forgot to mention that. One of the big questions is people asking, are we going to lose power tonight?
Right.
And you're not looking at any more accumulation, most likely due to icing, but the winds can pick up. The soil's saturated, so the trees are really, really heavy, and it's going to be those pine trees that still have leaves. They're going to collect more ice, and you're probably going to hear tree branches crashing overnight.
Yeah, that is one of there's a lot of concerns that we've got going on here. And when we want folks to make sure that even something so simple as your backyard, think about some of the trees around your backyard, or think about your patio, your front doorstep.
Just letting the dog
icing
out.
over. Yeah. It's a lot of things that we're starting to see, little small details of your day accumulating some ice issues, and that's why I think that was Saturday.
Turn that down. Again, I'm looking at your comments as it comes in.
I think that was Saturday that we had seen I believe they said 4 at the time. In Jackson County, they had seen some injuries already due to black ice, where folks were walking
4
on their own.
injuries.
Yeah. So as you can imagine, that's probably changed a bit, become a little bit more. We're just seeing a lot of this around the area, and some folks may not see it as rough as other areas. Again, this is not one size fits all, but this is still a concern across the valley because that's a lot of counties we named. That's most of us here. So that is a large concern. And something else to think about in the mornings, we've got these brutal starts each morning. And I know that schools are out for Monday, but thinking ahead to Tuesday when you start letting your students get back, if schools decide to get back to things. But definitely make sure if you have a walker student or you have a student that bikes to school, skateboard, whatever they may do, or if they wait for the bus in the morning, definitely be sure and cognizant that your students are well warmed up. You can at least try and drop them off. There's a lot of concerns with this, leaving the students outside as well. That's if these schools decide to go back.
And you got these on these buses. The buses are cold.
Yeah.
And what happens if the power grid fails because it's so cold? That's the other concern these school systems have is if the kids are all at school and the power goes out.
Then what do we do?
So that's a problem.
Right.
But again, the roads will improve tomorrow, but tonight it's a real mess out there.
Yeah. So big hope for that too.
But there's your 10-day forecast. We're going to have another update coming up at 9:30 this evening when we do our 48 weather extra. And again, we'll be monitoring social media throughout the night. But tomorrow, first alert weather day for this brutal cold again, wind chills. And it doesn't get a whole lot better Tuesday morning, low around 11. But by then, I think, the alert's out. So you're already aware of it. And then we've got another blast of colder air coming in. But this one looks dry. I know there was a lot of social media buzz over the weekend about a a Gulf low, and we just kind of we got our hands full with this storm. We'll wait for this one to come through because this was a real headache.
Yeah,
and we really dodged it because I'm telling you, you get west of Florence into Mississippi, you're going to start to see more and more reports, and they may be without power in some of those areas for over a week. So again, we saw this developing. It went like about 2.5 days, consecutive model runs. All the models were all over it, saying it was going to be as bad here as it ended up being in Mississippi. And then probably, I would say, at least 2 days before, it's all of a sudden it's like, nope. And we had that whole day where the models were all just like everywhere. And the thing people need to realize is, and I think this is true of society now, people want to know exactly what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. And some people don't understand when, here's our forecast 5 days out, and we know it's going to change. I think people think it's not going to change. They're dead set on, like these numbers here. By the time we get to Friday, it may be 45, or it may be 29.
There's a lot of moving parts.
It's a starting point. And we take that forecast and we narrow it in each day. And that's why we say keep checking back. We don't say keep checking back because we're afraid you're not going to watch television. It's because it's going to change. So, again, very fortunate for us. And hopefully there'll be some organizations around here looking for volunteers and supplies that we can send elsewhere that are going to need it, because this has been a massive winter storm all the way from New Mexico to Maine.
Yeah, exactly. Crazy. Seeing some of the reports from other states that have had such greater concerns, it has been honestly a blessing it hasn't been as rough in our area. Some of these folks, especially when you think about these areas like New Mexico and Texas, that are just like us, they don't get this kind of weather all the time. So it's very concerning for them as well. And we're all just kind of in that same boat of we aren't quite that used to this. Whereas in Maine, they may have better preventative measures.
Yes, right. The farther north you go.
Yeah.
But I think I've seen some comments wanting to know about the road temperatures tomorrow. I think the road temperatures will actually be in the 40s by about 11 a.m.
That's been consistent.
Because you got blacktop out there. I made a specific post on Facebook about trying to figure, it's so hard to figure out when the roads freeze, because underneath the roads where you don't have elevated surfaces, culverts, where you have an overpass, things like that, the cold air goes underneath, it cools it faster. Where the ground temperatures can keep regular roads from freezing up as quickly, but when you have moisture on them tonight, I think we're losing the battle on the roads tonight, the way it looks. But the sun is gonna help. Even on a cloudy day, the sun, some of that radiation gets through the clouds and helps on the roads. So we're going to see improvement. The sun will come out. The roads should dry. The road temperatures may be in the 40s, but the air temperature will only be 28.
Yeah, very.
It's just like when you go to the beach and it's hot, but then you step on the sand or you step on a dark sidewalk and it's hot. So it's the same principle there.
Absolutely.
The color of like if you have a stamped concrete patio and it's a dark shaded color versus the lighter shaded concrete, it's a lot hotter. So again, or if you like the brick around a swimming pool, sometimes really, really hot.
Absolutely.
So that's how the roads will improve tomorrow with some sunshine, even though it stays brutally cold outside. And the air's very dry, so that should help. One other thing you may want to think about, very, very dry air has a lot of static electricity to it.
Ooh, yeah.
So if you're fueling up your car, you'll want to make sure you discharge that static electricity before you fuel your car. Because you get out of your car, you feel a little shock. You walk across your house on the carpet, you touch the doorknob that's metal, you get a little shock. So it doesn't happen. And it happens a lot when women wearing nylons. They'll get out, that nylon getting out of the car is a static charge, big static electricity there. So again, make sure that static electricity isn't built. I mean, it's very rare that it happens, but it has happened that you can spark a fire putting fuel in your car if you get that static electricity. That's why I mentioned that.
Yeah, that's very good points. I think one quick update from Lawrence County. They're still seeing some wrecks and vehicles and ditches along Alabama 20 between Town Creek and Morgan County, that county line, due to ice. So again,
I really think this is the time you get these people that are driving on a wet road. Maybe they're coming from Huntsville and they're like, oh, the roads are fine here. You're going west. It's the unknown. You don't know how long that road's been frozen. So you're trying to go the same speed limit. and bam. So the challenge with being on the road right now is you've got a combination of drivers. You've got that one driver who's just flying through, and then you got the other driver who's going really, really slow. And when those two meet, it creates issues.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Again, be careful out there tonight. We'll be back at 9:30 and then tonight at 10 o'clock.
Yep, absolutely.